You know, these models or whatever that they use to do the warfare part of the game, I have lost track of how many games have used this model base for their game, and which isn't a bad thing, because I mean they're really cool. But man, it's just whoever made these, I hope they're getting a lot of royalties. I doubt they are, but we can always hope, right? So there you go. That's how Eminent Domain is played. What do you think, huh? It's not really tough to learn. It's not really tough to teach either. I've taught it to most of my gaming group and played it several times. I'm going to be completely honest with you. The first couple times that I played it, I was just kind of like, what? I couldn't put my finger on whether or not it was a game that I was going to like, or a game that was just going to be like, just kind of, well, that's that, And then, honestly, I was sitting at work, and I was just kind of thinking about the game, actually. And I was actually exchanging some emails with some other people that had played the game and their thoughts. And I kind of had one of those ding moments in my head, and I realized that I was playing the game in a way that it really wasn't meant to be played. I kind of got sucked into the whole thing. This is a deck builder type game, and really, honestly, the game isn't a deck builder. I mean, and that, after you saw how I explained the game, that maybe is very apparent to you. But I think a lot of people think that because of the fact that there's the whole process of the deck of cards, and you're drawing them and you're playing them and stuff like that. And it uses that deck building mechanic of the shuffling of your deck and so on and so forth. But this game is more about, in a way, optimization of your role that you're choosing, an optimization of the actions that you're taking. And in a way, and this is a little bit of a leap, but in a way, it kind of reminded me of some other games that have that optimization of each turn. Kind of like when I play Dominant Species, and like you're trying to do the best possible turn each and every time, and you constantly have to kind of change up your strategy. Now, I'm never going to say that this game is as complex as Dominant Species, because that's a very, very complex game and a very difficult game. But this game is something where you start off the game heading in one direction, and you're trucking along, and you're trying to achieve that victory point goal that you have. And then as the game progresses, you will have to alter it. You will have to change. You can't constantly be surveying, and looking for planets. You need to change that up, and you need to move on to something else. You can't constantly be colonizing. You need to change things up and move around. And the ability to trash cards out of your deck is probably more important in this game than any real deck building game that I've played, because of the fact that after a while, having a big glut of cards that have served their purpose and you've left them behind does you no good. You don't have that ability to optimize, there's that word again, your role. And really, the game actually becomes a very, very good brain burner in the way that you're constantly, in a way, you have to kind of have a very, very good knowledge of the number of cards that are in your deck and the type of cards that you have in your deck. And yeah, I'm not saying you have to count cards and you have to keep exact totals, but a good idea of the number is basically needed, in my opinion, to play the game competitively and to play the game to win. Now, I mean, I can't say enough about the look of the game. I mean, the art is beautiful. The cards and everything about it looks nice. It plays nice. I really, really enjoy the game. After the first few times I played it, like I said, I was just about ready to go, well, wow, I really was looking forward to this, and this is all it is. And then, like I said, it switched on me. I played it a few more times. I played it with a few more people, and it really started to catch on me, and it really started to grow on me. And after I played the game, about a half dozen times, that was when it clicked. And I love that moment of the game when it clicks. When and I've talked about that before in other reviews, but when you're playing a game and you're constantly looking up the rules, and you're constantly trying to remember how the mechanics work, and you're constantly trying to remember what you have to do now and how you do this and how you do that, when you've realized how the game works and how all the mechanics work and everything that you have to do. And that's second nature. That's when the game clicks in my mind, and that's when I can actually start relaxing and enjoying the game and enjoying the flow of the game and enjoying the strategy of the game. Now, your mileage may vary. I mean, maybe you'll dive into the game and you'll get that click right away. I'm not saying it's going to take you 5 or 6 plays to really enjoy the game, but that's what it took for me. And now it's a game that I really, really enjoy. If I had to nitpick a few things, I wish there was a 5th player. Because of the fact that my game group is larger, and having a game that only supports 4 is not optimal, because I always have 5 people. It just always happens. It's very rare that I have 4. I think it plays better with 3 than, strangely, I think it plays better with 3 people than it does with 2 or 4. It's still a very, very fun game, but I guess I personally have had the most fun playing with 3. There's just not as much downtime, but there is more going on. So like with 4 players, waiting for your turn to come up is kind of a little bit annoying, and with 2 players, it's just there's nothing really there. But I do like 3-player game. And finally, this is a game that has very little player interaction. I mean, you can't really attack the other people's planets. You can't try to steal anything from them. You can't do anything. The only real interaction that you have is with choosing your role, and then choosing whether or not the person's going to follow. And sometimes, maybe, you might not pick a certain role because a person after you would like to use that to, like, say, colonize a planet or finally take over a planet using warfare or whatever. And that does happen occasionally, usually towards the end of the game, when you realize the game is going to end soon, and you want to make sure that you don't pick a role that somebody else is going to be able to use to claim those last 2 or 3 victory points. But for the most part, if you're looking for something where you're actually interacting with the people other than having a conversation at the table while you play the game, this isn't a game for you. So, there you go, Eminent Domain. Did it live up to the hype? For me, it finally did. At the beginning, it didn't, and I was a little bit disappointed. But after I played it a few times, it definitely lived up to the hype. It lived up to my expectations, and I'm very, very glad that I own that. And I'd be willing to bet that if way back in the day, if you sent them your money and you kickstarted this game, when you're beginning your copy here in the next few weeks, you'll be just as happy when you get that in the mail. So that was me, Undead Viking. That was Eminent Domain. If you have any questions whatsoever about this review or this game or anything, you can definitely post them, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this review. And until next time, this was Undead Viking, and that was Video Review a Week. You have a great day.